Today, I want to talk about something we don't post about, don't usually celebrate, and honestly don't always know how to handle grief. Not the kind that's over in a week, not the kind where someone says, "You'll be okay," and suddenly you are. I'm talking about the kind that stays, the kind that changes you. One thing grief has taught me is this: grief doesn't just reveal your pain, it reveals people's capacity. When you're grieving, you start to notice something. So some people lean in closer and some slowly step back. At first, that can feel personal. You might think, am I too sad to be around? Am I too heavy? Do people avoid me because I'm not the happy version of myself anymore? But over time, I'm learning something important. Most people don't pull away because they don't care. They pull away because they don't know how to carry pain they cannot fix. Grief makes people feel hopeless, and hopelessness is uncomfortable. Some are afraid of saying the wrong thing. Some feel emotionally overwhelmed. Some are already carrying their own silent battles. And some just don't understand that grief doesn't run on a schedule. So they distance themselves, not realizing that their absence can make someone who's already hurting feel even more alone. I saw this in a very personal way when my wife was still alive. There were times, not always, but enough, when I could see how alone she felt in her pain. And I remember thinking about others and asking in my heart, where were you when she needed you the most? It made it made me sad, not angry, just deeply sad. I found myself trying to protect her, protect her from feeling abandoned, trying to be strong for both of us, trying to make sure she never felt like she was carrying everything by herself. But even with love and protection, grief and suffering can still feel incredibly lonely. And that loneliness inside grief, that's a different kind of pain. Because now it's not just this hurts, it becomes this hurts. And I feel like I'm in it alone. There's a moment in scripture that I understand differently now. Right before Jesus was arrested and crucified, he told his disciples they would scatter. In Matthew 26, verse 31, he said they would fall away and be scattered. These were the men who walked with him, ate with him, and said they would never leave him. But when the sorrow, fear, and chaos of that night came, they ran. Not because they stopped loving him, but because the moment was heavier than they were ready to carry. Later, Jesus says in John 16, verse 32, "You will be scattered, you will leave me all alone. Yet I am not alone, for my Father is with me." Even Jesus experienced what it felt like to be left alone in his deepest suffering. That changes how I see people who step back during grief. It doesn't always mean they don't love you. Sometimes it means they've reached the edge of their emotional strength. Grief exposes people's limits. Some stay, some freeze, some quietly disappear. But here's the part that faith keeps whispering to me. When people reach their limit, God hasn't. There's this tension between what I can see and what I can't. What I can see is the loss. What I can feel is the ache. What I can hear is the silence where something used to be. But what I can see is God. And yet faith tells me He is near. That's hard because you can't wave a hand over grief and make it disappear. You can't command your heart to stop hurting. And sometimes it feels like you're holding pain in one hand and faith in the other, not fully understanding either. I still don't fully understand what good can come from grief. Right now, sometimes it just feels terrible and heavy. But I'm starting to believe that grief may not always be something God quickly removes. Sometimes it's something He walks through with us. Maybe grief softens us in a way comfort never could. Maybe it teaches us how to sit with others in their pain instead of running from it. Maybe it grows a deeper compassion in us, the kind we only learn by hurting ourselves. I don't have all the answers. I'm still walking this road. I'm still walking this road. But I know this: if you feel alone in your grief, you are not strange, you are not weak, and you are not the only one who has felt this way. Sometimes people scatter when things get heavy, but God does not. And for now, that truth is something I'm learning to hold on to. Even on the days when the pain feels louder than comfort.